As you can see here, debris is still scattered on the lawn of this property along Huguenot Drive. Suffolk County Police have arrested a man for leaving the scene of the crash that killed 2 people last night. Now, Animal Control has decided to leave the seal where it is for now and are going to let it go back into the water at its own pace. We can certainly hope that the groundhog is right with an early spring on the way, but for now, it's clearly not time to put away the snow gear yet. Dr. Nachman stresses if you think you or your child has the measles, call your doctor first before just going in. Otherwise, you could infect others.
Previewing some of the tricks that you can see at the Bethpage Air Show this weekend. Reporting from above Long Island, Claire Kerr, News.
The effects of this storm are being felt across Long Island neighborhoods, taking down a tree outside this home in West Babylon.
I heard just a big crunch, which I thought was thunder, and then lightning, which was, I guess, the power line.
Pastore says the power here was knocked out for about 4 hours. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the tree just missed her car.
And it could have took out my truck, could have took out his house. I said, there must be a higher power.
Meanwhile, wild waters in Lindenhurst, an area prone to flooding.
2 years ago, we had this place completely destroyed. Now it's all back together again, and hopefully it's not going to happen again, but you never know.
Crazy, crazy. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. I don't even know why I'm out. Just stay home. It doesn't even pay to even drive out here. Stay home.
An outlook shared by many area residents.
Don't go down by the water. Stay away.
Again, thankfully the residents here are okay and are just hoping everyone stays safe through this storm. Reporting in West Babylon, Claire Kerr, FiOS 1 News. Breaking developments this noontime, we're learning more about a deadly stabbing that happened last night on the campus of Binghamton University. The victim has been identified, the suspect still on the loose. Signs of heat emergency to look out for include feeling lightheaded, dizzy, or if you stop sweating altogether. Make sure you bring yourself to a shaded area. Again, drink that water, and if needed, call 911. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is also speaking out about the no-tolerance policy, calling it un-American, and says he's planning to take legal action against the federal government. Thanks for waking up with us here on 12 News this morning. I'm Claire Kerr.
I'm Scott Cecina. Sounds like a great day to jump in the pool, right?
Absolutely. You know what? I think meteorologist Brian Schrader did challenge us to a cannonball competition.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Earlier this week. So, Brian, is this a good day for that competition to happen? We got Father's Day coming up.
It was cannonball practice.
Practice.
So I think first we practice and then we have the competition.
I don't
so
need no practice.
No.
From WBNG, your weather authority, this is 12 News at noon.
And we're starting 12 News at noon with a live look at downtown Binghamton from on top of the Security Mutual building. It certainly is a snowy day, and it is not over yet. So with that, we're in the Weather Center with meteorologist Brian Schrader. Brian, how much longer can we expect this to last?
Well, you mentioned about a 14-hour snowfall event starting at about 6 o'clock this morning, and that seems to be in line. So we've gotten about half the amount of snow we're expecting until around 8 o'clock this evening. And as we look out from the station, keep in mind, I just took a look at observations, and everybody reporting visibilities less than a mile. That's Binghamton, Ithaca, into Elmira, down towards Scranton. So keep in mind, we're dealing with reduced visibilities, we're dealing with snowfall, and even looks like a little slushy accumulation outside the station here in Johnson City. So we're about halfway through with this snowfall event. The heavy snow will continue through the afternoon, and this is going to make travel difficult all through the afternoon, your lunchtime commute, even your evening commute. And this is what we're expecting. By 1 o'clock, another 2 to 4 inches, 26 degrees. Things are going to start slowly winding down by around 5 o'clock. You can see another 2 to 3 inches by then, and then we're talking about some more scattered snow showers by 9 o'clock. Take a look. Winds are going to increase out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Could lead to some blowing and drifting snow during the nighttime. I'll have the rest of your forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Brian. Now, continuing our live team coverage, 12 News reporter Tyler Brown has been out braving the elements all morning long with a first-hand look at those conditions. He joins us now live this noontime in Johnson City. Tyler, how is it out there right now?
Well, Claire, we haven't really seen any sort of break from the snow since it started around 6:50 this morning, but the weather conditions have definitely affected the roads here in Johnson City. And we have seen the Department of Transportation plowing snow from the roads here, as well as the Parks and Recreation Department clearing roads in downtown Binghamton. Earlier today, I got to talk to a local resident who says the weather isn't halting her plans.
Snow, hail, sleet, I'm still going to do what I have to do. It's not going to stop me. I will survive.
And while the snow isn't impacting some, we did drive past some accidents on our way back to Johnson City, which is why we are urging everyone to slow down when driving on these slick roads. Now, if you do have to be out on the roads today, experts say that you need to keep your distance between other cars, because with these slick roads, you could definitely get into any sort of collision if you're not careful. So make sure you leave yourself plenty of distance to avoid any sort of collisions.
And Tyler, while we have you here, for kids who have a snow day today or parents who have to shovel, how is that snow?
Well, Claire, I can actually show you. Take a look down here. The snow is actually pretty soft and pretty, it's not really a packing type of snow. It's very soft, and just the slightest touch can make it fall apart. But yeah, it's definitely can impact roads. It definitely can impact things. But as far as the kids are concerned, it is a very cold day, a very windy day. So if they do decide to play outside in this snow, make sure they are very, very well bundled up.
All right, thank you so much for the updates, Tyler. Some great advice there, and we'll continue to have live updates today on the air and on our WBNG 12 News Facebook page. And the Binghamton Police Department has asked you to avoid parking on the streets today. This way, plows can do their job and keep the roads ready for emergency crews. Police say you need to park in a parking lot or a driveway. If you don't, there's a good chance you'll face the consequences.
We are going to be aggressively enforcing alternate side of the street, and if we do have to take action as far as towing, we will, because it's very important to keep these streets open for business and emergency vehicles.
Again, police also say if you don't have to go anywhere today, just stay home. And that being said, in addition to school closings, many local businesses are closed today. Those are listed on our website, WBNG.com. So if you had an appointment or meeting today, be sure to check that before you try and head out.
A Southern Tier treasure has been locked up and guarded for years. The former Binghamton State Hospital now sits as the mysterious Castle on the Hill.
Why is it closed to the public? Well, I had the chance to go inside those latched doors. Take a look. The doors may be closed, but the legends live on.
It's the only designated National Historic Landmark in our area.
It's a place historian Roger Luther gets a lot of questions about.
I've heard it referred to as the Castle on the Hill, and I didn't really know what that meant until I actually got up close to it.
What actually went on inside those castle walls?
It was a city all to itself.
Founded in 1858 by Dr. J. Edward Turner and opened to patients in 1864, the New York State Inebriate Asylum was the first of its kind in the country, aiming to cure alcoholism.
The attitude was that it was thought of more as a resort for fairly wealthy downstate alcoholics.
And then a mental hospital.
Mental illness was seen as some sort of demonic possession. They, were being cursed in some way.
Dr. Michael Lavin says the asylum gave patients a life away from society.
They could grow their own food. They could basically live their life there without really having to leave or necessarily interact with the rest of the population.
Hundreds of patients housed here at one time, with men on one side and women separated on the other. A story that stands out: one patient sat and shuffled his feet back and forth for years, and indents in the floor still remain.
The intentions were wonderful, but I got to figure, as the population grew, as more and more people were crammed into these facilities, things were abused. I'm sure there's no question about it.
In attempts to help patients, doctors sometimes took extreme measures.
Physical, restraints and procedures, lobotomies, in ways that are now what we would consider really kind of backward, drilling holes in people's head to let out these fluids, for example, which often led to people dying.
Dr. Lavin also points to electric shock therapy, which was performed in a much less humane method than today.
It's kind of sad. And imagine the workers, not having really adequate kinds of treatments to offer.
At its peak in the 1950s, there were roughly 3,500 patients. Now, thousands are buried on the asylum grounds. The hospital stopped housing patients in the castle in the 70s, and it became home to offices until in 1993.
A portion of the facade collapsed, and it has been empty ever since.
Certain legends may be disputed, like the Masonic Eye, said to follow you around the chapel and look down on the altar. But there's no mistaking the feelings this place still carries. Energy that motivated Binghamton University theater professor Elizabeth Moser.
I was inspired to make a theater piece after my first visit to the castle. I could feel the lives that had lived there, the lives of people who had worked there, who had visited this grand building.
Today, the building isn't the same, and neither is the treatment of mental health.
I think going back, you kind of learn from things, but, in the current state, we still have things to learn.
As for the future of the castle,
everybody in this community wants to see this building saved. No question in my mind.
And there's hope that those locked doors may reopen. In Binghamton, Claire Kerr, 12 News.